All right. There we go. All right. Well, welcome everybody. This is the second seminar that we have put on. We're really excited about these. In particular, this location is near and dear to our hearts. We're going to be doing Alaska and beyond. Really looking forward to this. Obviously, it's where the company was founded. It's our right in our backyard, and so we're really looking forward to share a little bit about what we know about the final frontier with you guys. Quick introductions here. My name is Dax Harlow. I'm the facility manager for the company here in Portland, and I'm going to be kind of Phil's sidekick as he kind of goes through this. Handing questions off to him that he can answer throughout the presentation. So you might see me interject here or there throughout the webinar. We also have Brendan Anders. He's the man behind the curtain here, running things in the background. And then, of course, your host, Phil.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for investing some time to travel a little bit with me. I hope you have your passport with you because we're going to go to not only Alaska, but a few other places. Alaska is where we started. Thank you, Dax, for the introduction. We've got Brendan Anders in the background helping with question and answer. A few things, though, if you want to just do a general comment while we're going, that little chat icon there with the two little bubbles. At the bottom, you can chat, and if you have a question, it's a little bubble with a question mark in it at the bottom, and you can put a question in there, and that will be forwarded to me, and I can answer them as we're going. If you're on a mobile right now, you might want to just turn it sideways so you can see the landscape. And yeah, let's kick off. First of all, I really like this quote, so I'm just going to start with it again. Whether life is short or long, all we possess is the present, and all that matters is what we do in it. All right, so I don't know if all of you have been to Alaska, but let's go a little bit. First of all, you got to start out with a good shop dog. If you got a good shop dog, that's Cholo right there. And that's our older location on Spinard Road. And man, he was just a friendly soul and really great to have him every day at the shop. We have now moved in Anchorage and we're a little bit further away, but we've got a great facility out on Old Seward Highway, and come and visit us. It puts you right out on the highway going north or south. And who else can brag that you have two National Forest scenic byways starting about 4 miles from your facility? So either north or south, you've got great riding right out of Anchorage. But let's get into this a little bit. First of all, that's the lovely state of Alaska. And we purchased this fair and square right after the Crimean War. Uh, we uh, we have a lot of real estate up here, and we have few roads, and we go down all of them, and sometimes even a little bit more. And what I want to do today is kind of take you into the country through Canada one way, and maybe one other nice highway through Canada, and then I'm just gonna kind of take you all the way through the Alaska highway system, and even all the way up to Prudhoe Bay. Did you know you were going there this morning? That's me. I was only taken 2 weeks ago in India. That's at probably 16,000 feet as we're cresting the third highest motorable pass in the world. There's many there. Fun stuff. These are the old days. Those those bikes on the back of that train there are the original fleet of Alaska Rider Tours back in 1998, and that was the very first tour. And it's always fun to just kind of collect thoughts and see how this business has evolved over the years to MotoQuest. And that's what we used to do, a little bit of camp tours, and that was it, folks. Now we have branched out and we have all BMWs in our fleet, and we actually stay in hotel rooms in Alaska. So you don't have to worry about swatting mosquitoes anymore. Well, and also, I do want to say that I am proud co-author with Lee Clancher from Octane Press of the Adventurous Motorcyclist Guide to Alaska. And if you haven't had a copy of this, you can buy it online. Go to octanepress.com, and it's got tons of maps and great information. And it was really fun to collaborate with Lee on this. And I just poured my heart in it with all the information that I could ever think of. And I'm going to hit a lot of it starting pretty much now. But first of all, I'd like to introduce some of uh, my colleagues that make MotoQuest possible. This is Brendan Anders. He is our managing partner. You can see that he is at the top of the world in this photo. He's in the background right now helping us, and he spins a lot of plates and makes sure that we're running up to 4 trips around the world at any given time, amongst other things. Thank you, Brendan. This is Kevin Haggerty, and this is kind of a cool shot of him just probably destroying another KLR. He's having fun. He's been in and out of the motorcycle industry doing all sorts of things, and he has really kept us like a compass, just headed in the same direction, and a good one. Thank you, Kevin. And that one's Sam. She actually keeps us going in a financial way, and she's a partner here at MotoQuest, and she's a great sounding block. Love to have her, and she keeps us pointed in the right direction so we can keep offering great tours and rentals for everybody. This is our facilities manager, Mike, in Anchorage. That's Penelope. Hey, Penelope. He's taking care of all the things that you need up in Alaska, and he also floats down the coast to make sure that our fleet is running well and does a great job. Thanks, Mike. And that's Dax. You can see him over there too in the little corner. And he's our facilities manager down in Portland, Oregon. Takes care of business there, helps us with the social media and many other things. Thanks, Dax. And there's Adam. And I don't know what CC that motorcycle or motor is below him, but he's in Mongolia at the moment. In this picture, he's back at the facility now in Long Beach, California, Signal Hill, if you want to be more correct. And he takes care of all business down there. And you'll talk to Adam on the phone if you want to rent a bike and go to Baja, etc. Now here's a couple other of these characters. There's Carl on the left. He's a anything from a mechanic to one of our guides from Peru to Mexico. That's Neil on the right, and you're going to see him in the background, always just wrenching bikes, super good smile on his face, helping out people. And then we have a lot of hired guns around the world. This is Fernando in Portugal. If you've ever dealt with Fernando, you know he's a lovely soul, funny, funny guy, and he's on the road right now with a group in Portugal. Excuse me. There we go. We got Darren on the road. He drives truck from us from time to time and also helps out when he can. He is also a mechanic for us. There's Dom Bauer. He's in Moab at the time. At this time, he does all sorts of trips for us from here to there. Great guy and absolutely a foodie. And there's Dan Patino. Gosh, he's been around for over 20 years. Here he is behind in front of some iconic bridge. And he's done tours for us all over the world. Great guy. If you've ever been with him, and if you haven't, you should. He's fun to spend time with. There's Jim. I don't sure that sombrero fits him, but he's based up in Alaska. Does a lot of Alaska trips. Great rider. Great soul. Anu, I just spent 2 weeks with him in India. He's our man on the ground there. He's a man about town. He takes care of everything MotoQuest when we go to India. Great guy. There's Simon. He's out of England, but you'll see him on the TT race itinerary that we offer. He's a great guy, super funny, very knowledgeable. And him and Lynn Brown, Idaho based, are your hosts and when you go watch the TT in the Isle of Man. And there's Ben, and I love this photo, but he's a man that's all over the world for us. He's usually flying around in a helicopter. That's probably what he's doing today. But great guy, Ben Habecker. Okay, this is our new facility in Anchorage. Pretty proud of it. It's got some drive-through bays, really nice location, and gets you right out to the road, and you can go north or south out of there and just have a lovely ride. This is our facility in Portland. This is the one that Dax is taking care of, and it is open all year round, and we have people fly in and go venture either to Alaska or south or west, whatever you want. And this is our facility in Long Beach, California. And this is our springboard to Baja and also our HQ. So when you're calling in, usually you'll either talk to somebody here or up the coast. Okay, let's get to Alaska. Now, you want to prepare for Alaska. You want your bike to be right for Alaska. You want to see all of Alaska. Well, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey around the last frontier. First, let's start with our state flag, which was drawn up by a elementary school student in the bush, and it just represents us. It's got, of course, the Big Dipper and the North Star, and our motto is North to the Future. And this is a car that's sitting in the back of a lodge on Denali Highway, stuck in time and in the moss. And I love the slogan there, Alaska or bust. And that is pretty much the sentiment of people who have moved up here over the years, and they are coming, and this is their deal. And what happens in Alaska stays in Alaska, and it's real fun up here. That's a nice Kennecott shot. And this is why you'd come to Alaska. Yes, there is a meandering highway through the Brooks Range, and you're on your way to Prudhoe Bay. Maybe even if you want to ride around a glacier, you might want to come up to Alaska. Or even get a little bit further out. We do sometimes some off-road type excursions. If you have a group, just let us know. We'll take you where the caribou roam. And there is your travel companion for a lot of the Richardson Highway, which is the Alyeska pipeline. 800 plus miles of, well, dinosaur energy. And this is a typical sign you'll see around Anchorage. Then this is the truth. If you see a plane coming down, you need to kind of get out of the way. This is back when we used to rent scooters. Those guys are Harley riders. I'm sure they don't know we're showing that photo, but here we are. And what time of year do you want to come to Alaska? Probably not March. This is March. That's a pretty good dump, and just not quite ready. If you want to ride Alaska, June, July, August, early September, and then the last 2 weeks in May can be really nice as well, but March is a little too early. What kind of bike do you want to use? Now let's talk about it. People really want to use the bike for all conditions, but you got to consider that half the highway system is dirt surface. Now, I ran across this Italian who had a coffee holder and a 50cc bike, and this thing went all the way down to Tierra del Fuego after we met him. So that could be your steed, but you might want to consider also something that rides the dirt and the pavement and is a little bit, I don't know if it's going to be more comfortable than this. What kind of critters are you going to run into? Well, there's all sorts. First of all, you want to be careful of the largest deer, a member of the deer family there is in the world, and that's the moose. You also watch it. I don't know if you want to be careful of the bear or the tourist, but either one. You'll run into bears once in a while, especially if you're coming up the highway in spring. They're always out there just filling up their stomach with grass. If you see a moose, you're pretty lucky, but you got to be careful. Those things are very large. They can shave you off your bike, and they can double back like a chicken. So be wary. And then we got our caribou as well. You don't see them too much on the road, but once in a while, be wary. But up north, you can see more. And then you got your Dall sheep. And of course, your lovely ground squirrel, and those are edible. And muskox. And we rented those from the Star Wars set fair and square. So they're out there above the Brooks Range just roaming around, prehistoric like. And that is a traffic jam above the Arctic Circle. Get ready. And that is the most dangerous beast on all of the roadway, the Winnebago. This one we caught, I think it's had its last few minutes on Earth, but boy, you got to be careful. Usually they're driven from people from out of state, and the brakes can be hit at any time, and just be wary. Okay, so let's go into country a little bit. You want to go to Alaska, so there's a couple ways to go. There's the Alaska Highway corridor, we do offer a tour that goes all the way up the Alaska Highway. It happens in mid-May, more or less. And there are a lot of animals to be seen. That time of year, everything's waking up. We saw 30 bears off the side of the road a couple years ago. So you really get to see a lot of open country. It's quite beautiful. The landscape is just waking up from winter. We go all the way up through British Columbia, through the Yukon, and then finally we finish up in Alaska. It's about a 12-day ride from Portland all the way to Anchorage, and big mile days, maybe up to 400. Um, you want to budget about that much if you're on your own or with us. You might even do a little bit of a sojourn to Skagway. This is the road out to Dyea, which is the original town site where they started the Chilkoot Trail. So a little bit of gold rush history there. And if you're adventuresome and you got another day to do something new, you could load your bike on the Alaska Marine Highway. And there's one that goes from Skagway to Haines. You might want to link that one, Brendan. It's really interesting. It's only about a couple hours long, but it's really worth it. And so the ride into Skagway is excellent, and the ride out of Haines is excellent. And you might even get in the air and see some glaciers too. It's always fun. Now, the original way in is the Alaska Highway into Alaska. You go through Beaver Creek and then Tok. This is Emerald Lake, I believe. Nice little, you go through the welcome sign there. That's just before you get to the immigration. And there's another way up, and that is the Cassiar Highway. We offer it in a tour format from north to south, but you can come up that, and I think it's also very beautiful. You could do a little sojourn into Stewart and Hyder and check out the bears there. That's pretty cool. You can even see the Salmon Glacier on a good day, and you need a good one. It's very beautiful. And also the Cassiar itself is just gorgeous. So keep that as an option. Either if you're going to do the whole trek, you want to incorporate this highway one way or another.
Hey,
And
Phil, I
then
got a couple of questions
hit
in the
me.
chat. If you got
Yeah.
a minute. So this is a good question, man. Someone asked, like, what are the average high and low temperatures in Alaska during our core season up there? What kind of weather can we expect?
You can expect anything from 50 degrees to, well, I've been in 104 degrees in traffic in Fairbanks. It's not afraid to get really hot. Your average is going to be probably your like 65 to 70. That's what you can plan on. Weather, you're going to have rain probably 3 days of the week. If you're not planning on it, then you should. It just depends on, how it all is working. You can have 2 week weather window where it's crystal clear, or you can be really lucky in being unlucky and then have a weather pattern follow you for 2 weeks. So there's a lot of microclimates. You're going through really huge mountain ranges that change everything. So keep that in mind. You're not usually stuck in the same weather pattern more than 3 days.
Perfect. Okay. And then a couple of the other questions got answered in the chat. If anything else pops up, I'll throw them out to you.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so this is a lovely picture of the Dempster Highway. And the Dempster Highway, if you're going to go in, the furthest northern pathway into Alaska is the top of the world highway. So this is outside of Dawson City. It's going to be a right-hand turn going north, and you can go all the way to the Arctic Ocean to Tuktoyaktuk. Now, keep in mind the surface of this particular highway is different than the Dalton Highway. The Dempster is also, fashioned with, it's graded and it's treated with calcium chloride, but it's done a little differently, and it can get really super slippery when it's raining. And you want to keep that in mind. And my other advice is pack gas with you. You can get gas in Eagle Plains, but you may need to turn back too. And you need to make sure you got enough gas to get you from one place to another. All the sun has to do is hit it for a little bit and it dries it right out, and it makes it an entirely different highway. They have their own version of the Arctic Circle up there, which is nice. And you can see that it's just wide open country. Not a lot of not a lot of support out there. So you want to bring tools and buddies. And I want to tell you that that guy in the ditch there, he is an expert off-road rider, and he decided to get off those wheel tracks for a Winnebago. And the first thing he did was go right off the road. That 4 inches of slop just made it uncontrollable for him. So keep in mind, your traction is everything, and you might even come to an impasse if you have an RV coming the other way, and just kind of let them know that you're a little bit more vulnerable than they are. And I'm sure you can get a smile out of him and have him get off the road a little bit for you. The ferries are free. This one's just it's across the McKenzie River. And then bring your clubs because Inuvik has a golf course and it's world famous. So make sure that you're ready for that. And you can ride all the way up to Tuktoyaktuk, and you can stand in the Arctic Ocean and be as happy as Rob. On your way back down, you can check out Dawson City. That's a really cool destination. It's where the Klondike River is dumping right into the to the Yukon River there. There's some great loops out of there to ride, so spend a couple nights there. And if you go there on solstice area, you can catch up with the Dust to Dawson biker gathering. And this thing is really interesting. It's a mix of Canadian riders and Alaskan riders, mostly dual sport, but it's not exclusive. They take over the town, they do biker games. It's pretty fun stuff. I believe they're going to run it again next year. I really hope so. And you can also get yourself a sour toe cocktail from some dead guy's toe. And I know you're really looking forward to that. And officially, you have to let that, you drop it into the drink of your choice, and then the toe has to touch your lips in order to get the certificate. And it's all about getting the certificate. And then, of course, more free ferries let you off across the Yukon. This is a photo of downtown Clinton, which is just outside of Dawson City. And if you ride all the way down to the river here, you'll find that this is the original Gold Strike area of the Klondike, and then it has now disappeared. And the parking is not that solid, so maybe bring a rock for your kickstand. All right, this is Little Gold Creek, and you're passing into Canada or out of Canada. It's the most northern crossing between the two countries overland. And in Canada, you have really beautiful three-color, textured signs. They're in two different languages. And when you get to Alaska, yep, any sign that tells you not to do something is usually has a symbol there. This is the top of World Highway, and this is all dirt surface. It'll bring you into the town of Chicken, which is named Chicken because they couldn't spell ptarmigan. It's an old gold mining community, and you can get Wi-Fi and a chicken pot pie and a shirt that said "I got laid in chicken." You can make friends there. And as you're making your way back into country a little bit, you're going to go by Wrangell St. Elias National Park, and there is the slant of road that will take you into the park. It's a dead end. It plays out to a gold mine, and there you go. They used to actually use horses and sleighs to get in there in the winter. Then they would be landlocked in the summer, and then wait for the snow to come to bring the gold out of there. That's Wrangell St. Elias National Park. That's the largest national park in the United States or North America, and it has 9 of the 16 tallest peaks on the continent. And then it abuts against Kluane National Park on the Canadian side, and those two preserves form the largest natural preserve in the world. Now we're riding down to Valdez. Oh, Valdez. On a good day, it is absolutely beautiful. You can go up and touch Worthington Glacier. It's pretty beautiful out there. A lot of natural, raw beauty. It dumps into Keystone Canyon, and then there's waterfalls, and then you come out to the fjords of Valdez, and it's really hard to beat this ride anywhere in the world. And if you come there on the right time of year, I would say the late July into August, you're going to run into salmon everywhere, and that's a good picture of them. And also, you're going to run into critters. That's a pink salmon. And there's some fun riding out the back there. There's two ways to get back to Anchorage from Valdez. One is to take the Alaska Marine Highway, which we might dump that link in there. And you can go across from Valdez to Whittier via Prince William Sound. And it's a lovely float. It takes about 6 to 7 hours. You go by Tidewater glaciers. And the other way is just to ride it out. You can ride back up through Thompson Pass, hit the Glen Highway, which is a National Forest scenic byway, and go right along the Chugach Range to Anchorage. But before,
Hey,
oh, go
Phil,
ahead.
got one quick question here for you, man. Jeff asked a good question in the chat. Do you have any tire recommendations for the road conditions in Alaska? Anything
Yeah.
specific or just generalized recommendations?
Well, I'm going to do a general. You want to have something that has a bite on the dirt. So a 60-40, 40 being the aggressive side or the dirt side of the tread should get you through most things. You'll be all right. And then just pick your poison as to what make you want. The the harder the rim is or the rubber, the harder it is to fix that tire with spoons. So that is also a consideration if you're stuck out there. But I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
All right. So before we get out to the Glen Highway, let's take a little sojourn out to Kennecott Mine. You might drop a link to that. And Kennecott is a very interesting place. This is Mount Wrangell right on your way out. That's on the Copper River. Those are fish wheels. They just sit out there and scoop up salmon automatically. But you're going to go on an old railroad base 60 miles out into the center of Wrangell St. Elias National Park. And it is rustic. And you're going to see old trusses that were built in 1910. They basically got in there and they mined the richest and largest deposit of copper ore ever found. And then when the price hit a certain level, they just pulled the pins in 1930 or 32, somewhere in there, and it became a ghost town. And the only way to get to the actual mine is to come across a pedestrian bridge and just make sure there aren't any pedestrians on it, and you can come across, and only motorcyclists can really make it all the way up the 5 miles to the mine. You can try to get a copy of the key to a bridge downriver, but it's going to cost you over, I don't know what the market value is now, but it's either Pride or $2,000 or some mixture of both. Beautiful scenery out there. That's Blackburn. It's glaciers colliding everywhere. Uh, it's just a fun way to get into really the heart of Alaska. This is McCarthy, which is actually the entertainment center. So this is where the miners went to dance and prance, and then they would go to work 5 miles up at the mine. And it's all old Western. It's kind of fun. There's places to stay. And there's actually an old wagon road that connects the mine to the McCarthy that has the old cemetery. It's not used much anymore, but it's really something to come by here and see the land of the lost.
That was a question that had popped up in the chat, Phil, is what are the lodging or accommodations look like if you wanted to actually stay at the mine?
Yeah, if you want to stay at the mine, they have a beautiful lodge up there. Just beware that usually it's shared bath because it's based on the old workman's. It was made for the help back in the day, so they skimmed on the bathrooms en suite. Other than that, elegant, really good food, great views, and it's as modern as they could make it within the confines of the original structure. And they also have places down in McCarthy you can stay as well, like Ma Johnson's and such. And you can take a tour of this building. It's built as the largest wooden structure in North America. This is the old mine. It's pretty fascinating, and you can do a little bit of just side roads, and you can find out that everything leads to nature out there. Now we're backing out of McCarthy. We're headed to Anchorage, and we're on the Glen Highway. That's Mount Drum in the background, one of the taller stratovolcanoes out there. And there are nice places to stay along the Glen Highway. And you can also do a flight C of Matanuska Glacier, which is phenomenal. And the road is nice. It's got great views, and it's actually pretty fun for the motorcyclists as well. And you can even ride right up to it, Matanuska Glacier. And now you're back in Anchorage. Your bike might be a little muddy, be a little proud, and you can go through town and make it to MotoQuest. And any given day during the summer, there are people coming and going, so it's kind of fun to see the buzz there. And you can get ready to maybe continue your trip. You go down to the Kenai Peninsula. You might put a link to that, but there's just a couple places that you'd really like to see there, and the road goes to every single one of them. You could go to Alyeska Resort here and get up and take the tram up and then make a snowball and hit the person you're traveling with. Why not? And you can also head down. This is Arctic Turn Lake. This is where you need to make a decision. If you go straight down that to the end of that valley, you're going to Seward, Alaska, which is a great little fishing town. And if you take a right, you're going to head down to, you can go to the North America's most westerly point at Anchor Point. And actually, you can tag that. And if you go all the way to Prudhoe Bay, you have gone to the most northern point of the highway. So you've done two of the directions on this continent, the most, uh, the limits of the continent. This is Homer. It's a beautiful little peaceful town with hippies and fishermen and Russians. And we bought those Russians fair and square, and they still live in the valley, and they fish together and live together. It's beautiful to see. This is a salty dog. If you've ever been on the spit, you gotta go in here. You just gotta. And then on your way out of the Kenai Peninsula, you might stop in to the little town of Hope. And here's the Seaview Cafe. They do a pretty mean chowder right on the water there. And if you want to, you could go into Whittier and go through the longest tunnel in North America. And it's on train tracks, and you're getting hit by fans. It's one-way traffic, and it's interesting. And here is a nice little, if you want to go north up the Parks Highway, here's a nice little sojourn. It goes up to Hatcher Pass, and then it goes to the Willow Fish Hook. And this is a lovely 40-mile dirt trek that kind of keeps you out of the town of Wasilla, and it avoids that, and you can see the high alpine a little bit. This is a nice one. You might put Hatcher Pass Road link up there. And then you got to stop in and see Talkeetna. Talkeetna is eclectic. It's really fun. It's right on the river. It's where three rivers collide. And if you are there, you might take a day and go for a glacier landing. There's nothing like it. There's several companies in town that do it. This one's K2, and it's a highlight. Continuing north, you're on the Parks. You're going to go by Denali, which is at 20,230 feet. It's the highest mountain in North America. There is a road out to it, but you have to get a permit to go all the way out there. You can go out the first 30 miles to the Savage River, but you get turned around. But if you get a permit, either early or late season, you can ride all the way out to Kantishna. Okay, and then a lot of people talk about riding all the way to Prudhoe Bay, so let's talk about it a little bit. I wrote a little article about the 10 ways, the 10 do's and don'ts of the Dalton. But here, let me show you some photos. The Dalton Highway is awesome. It's treacherous. It's also easy depending on the weather and the road construction. There aren't many facilities out there, so you want to be ready. Have a sat phone or a buddy or both. you're going to see a lot of this. It's this and chip seal, which is like a cheap form of pavement. And then they're going to have road graders working in water trucks. So once you think you got it nailed, then it gets really slickery. So you want to be ready for about 70 yards of, I wish I had a different bike, or I'm glad I have this bike. Aggressive tires are recommended. Don't put your weight up high, and also enjoy the forest fires. It's usually burning up there, and usually there's nobody to say no, so you can ride right through them. No big deal. And you're gonna get this. So pack a little gas with you too, because no joke, there's nobody up there. And this is the type of road condition that you can run up against. So bring the bike that you think would be best for it. Now, these guys, they're having a great time, but they're also packing a lot of stuff up high. And if you can avoid that, that will help you. You want every advantage when you're riding that kind of stuff. You're also going to be traveling with a good friend of ours, which is the Alyeska pipeline. And if I was to do it, I would do it like that if I could, with no luggage, knobby tires, and light. If you have a truck or a support vehicle with you, that's great. If you don't, try to keep your tools and your stuff low as possible. And you're going to cross the Yukon River on this very nice wood plank bridge that has mud brought out onto it by trucks. It's at a steep grade. The reason it's wooden is because those ice road truckers are using chains in the winter and they can dig into the surface and get traction to get through. No stopping on the bridge. There is a camera and they are watching, and that, the pipeline is affixed to the bridge, so it's a security sensitive place. So you can throttle down there on first gear, but don't stop. They'll actually yell at you on the PA system to get off the bridge. And if you go to Yukon River Camp, which is on the other side of the bridge, it's a nice little story here, but a grizzly bear broke in and made a nest out of all of the gift shop t-shirts and stuff. It destroyed the kitchen. And when the caretaker came in, he shot it and it made it right to here before it bled out in the carpet. And of course, the blood stain was in the carpet for the next 5 years, right in front of the bathrooms. And I don't know if that adds a star or it takes away from the star rating. And some of
got,
it will be like
got
this.
a quick question for you, Phyllis. Might be a good time to interject. So, given the size of Alaska, man, just how vast it is up there, how much time should a person budget inside of Alaska if they want to see as much of it as possible? If this is kind of a once in a lifetime trip for them, how much time do you need to really see everything?
Well, I would say 3 weeks because it's going to take you a week, 6 days to get to Prudhoe. Uh, well, yeah, 3 weeks if you want to do all the things. 2 weeks should be manageable if you want to get to Prudhoe and then all the way down to Homer, but 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, perfect. And then I got one more question. I think maybe an anxiety that a lot of people have when you talk about Alaska or the bears, right? You're always hearing about how many bears are up there. So, can you give just some general bear precautions when you're motorcycling or when you're motorcycle camping? Just kind of some basic things you can do to mitigate that risk.
Yeah, bears are generally not as dangerous as they're hyped up to be. We do have incidents. There's more people killed by domestic dogs than bears up here. Moose are rather dangerous and unpredictable. Keep your food out of your tent. Keep it locked up. Keep it away from your tent. Make noise. Travel in groups. If you have a groups of four or more, chances of getting attacked are zero. Have bear spray with you. You really, you can kind of reason with a bear. I've met a lot of bears over the years, and they're basically like dogs. You talk to them in dog language, and you can tell if they're upset or not. Make yourself big. Um, you're supposed to back up a little bit if it's a sow with cubs, but you're supposed to stand your ground with a boar. These are all theories. The natives will say that you rub a stick in your armpit or your crotch and throw it at them so they can smell it and then get the hint. You really want to be aware of which way the wind's blowing so that they are aware, because that's how they're identifying with you. But mostly it's a non-factor. And if you do come across one, speak to it in a confident voice, and then you make a decision as to what needs to happen based on their actions. I hope that helps.
Perfect. No, I think that's great. And then we are getting a couple of questions about, if people will be able to view this presentation later. Just a heads up for all the attendees, we have recorded this. It will go up on our YouTube page, and we will be sharing a link to all the attendees after the fact with that link. So no worries on that.
All right. All right. So we're still on the Dalton. Fun stuff. A little bit of paved, a little bit of dirt, a little bit of Arctic Circle. Woohoo! Jumping across. You can even see the dashed dotted line in the sky. A little bit more of the Alyeska pipeline, a little bit of the Brooks Range. Now, when you ride it one way, it's really beautiful, but when you turn it around, it's a whole nother beauty. And my argument is, if you want to go just to the Arctic Circle, it's 60 miles of paved road to Coldfoot, and then from Coldfoot, it's just one day to Prudhoe, and you might as well go all the way to Prudhoe. That's my argument. If you're going to go all the way to the Arctic Circle, you might as well go all the way up, because you're going to have open road of chip seal like this and dirt surface like this. That's the Brooks Range. It's wide open, baby. You start getting away from trees, and the self range is gone, and you're out in nature. You got to watch out for these rock throwing machines. So make sure that you mitigate. Um, they have broken things. You can see that shattered GoPro right there. And it's a fine line. Those truckers run pretty fast, and you don't want to get off to the side of the road because it can get soft. So you kind of want to let them pass if they are doing a backhaul, because they're going to go 80 miles an hour. And you're going to see pretty cool stuff like this. That is July. So when you're preparing for weather, keep this in mind. Anything can happen. We call it the North Slope up there, and that's the traffic. And that's the payoff right there. How did that bike get so dirty? Well, we run 2 Prudhoe Bay trips a year. There's lots to see up there, like equipment that's used for winter, and also other wonderful things. There's a gas station. There's actually a spa. Okay, it's not a spa. You can pay to take a tour out to the Arctic Ocean and jump in. Make sure that you call them 24 hours in advance, because they're going to want a photocopy of your passport, and that's no joke. It's a security situation up there. But they will take you out there, and you can enjoy the Arctic Ocean. If you go a little early, you can enjoy it like this. And that's what's going on up there. And then when you're leaving town, it's a nice reminder that you have 240 miles of no service. So pack your bags or have a plan. And like I said, on the way back, you're going to see stuff that you didn't see on the way up. And for example, the avalanche that went across the road after you came across yesterday. And on your way back, you might hook a right and go to Manly Hot Springs. This roadhouse is since 1903. It was used as a gold rush sort of stop by, and they do have natural hot springs there. And you could talk to the owners at the hot springs, and you get the whole place to yourself for a few dollars. And there's wild orchids and grapes growing from the ceiling. Pretty cool. There's a couple roads that branch off there. Sometimes back in the day, we were trying to get out to Rampart. It was that gets all the way out to Ruby, which was one of the places that Wyatt Earp made it to. on the Yukon River. Uh, there's also another road that branches off to Central, and you can go through, you could see dredges like this. There's, if you could see that ribbon of a road in the background, that's an old road that linked Fairbanks to Central. And Central used to have a lot of thousands of people living out there during the gold rush. Jack, uh, he used to show us his gold mining operation, and his biggest day was $70,000, and using modern equipment on an old mine. Sometimes you can get into a festival. This is the wet stomach contest that we ran across once out in Circle, and they had a pinata punching party, which is, you got to do what you can when you're out there. You see those dollar bills up there? That's a federal offense, but that is a tradition in Alaska. And the miners used to come out of the hills and staple up a dollar so they could buy themselves a drink in the future in case their luck didn't go well in the future. And you can write your name on it and all that. But every bar in Alaska's got that going. So a Sharpie and a stapler is all you need to ask for at a bar, and you can join the federal and then also you might run into some, four-wheel bowling. Let's go out to Chena Hot Springs. This is another road, spur road near Fairbanks. They've got a neat facility. They got an ice museum where you can have an apple teeny in a glass made of ice. And you can also visit North Pole and see Santa. And he's usually there. And he's a Harley guy, but he does understand that BMWs are more suited for Alaska. And this is the Richardson Highway. And yeah, forest fires are a common thing, so you will see them. And then going into the Alaska Range is absolutely spectacular. These are the Rainbow Mountains. That's Paxton Lake, or no, Summit Lake. Isabel Glacier in the background. And this is my favorite highway. This is the Denali Highway. You might link that. This is a great highway. It's 120 miles long. It's east-west. It's the original entry to Denali National Park, and it's paved and not so paved and dirt and chip seal. And there's not a lot of infrastructure out there, but it's right at Timberline. They have their priorities set out there. And you can see stuff like this. This is McLaren Glacier. Absolutely beautiful. They have a bike washing station out there. We used to do an off-road camp out there, and we still can put it together if you have a custom trip. There's a lot of mining roads out there, and it's quite beautiful if you're into that.
Okay, Phil, got a couple more questions here in the chat, man.
All right.
Nice one here. A friend of mine was lucky enough to ride with Phil in Alaska last year. Phil, do you plan to guide in Alaska in 2026?
Oh, I want to stay on the rails. Thank you very much for that. I want to do the Best of Alaska. Man, you're going to help me on the dates. I think it's the first week of July. I may be incorrect. You might want to check that out. But it's the Best of Alaska. I'm going to double down with Dom Bauer again. It was so fun to work with him and just, have my hand at meeting all the lodge owners and stuff. So yes, yes, yes. Best of Alaska.
Okay, awesome. And then I got another question here from Ken. Any plans to revise your book?
Yeah, I haven't talked to Lee about it recently, but we could. There are a few lodges that have gone under, and there are some that have started. So thank you very much for the nudge. I'll reach out to Lee and see if we can get a little bit more of a revise.
And that's it for now.
All right. And then the Denali Highway, that's a nice little ending to a day. Friends, fire. Oh, I think I saw that. The Super Cub, the Alaska Range in the background. And then if you come out there in the second week of August on, you get a chance to see the Northern Lights. And we do offer 2 Northern Lights itineraries, and they do ride down the Denali Highway. And you just got to get lucky with what's going on in the cosmos. But it's pretty spectacular when they show up. And I like this picture because it's kind of like the end of the day. friends sharing stories and having a good time, and everyone's in safe and fun stuff. So look for your passport because we're going to get close to traveling, but I'd like to take you on a little bit of a whirlwind here. First of all, I just wanted to say that we do organize tours out of Portland. Here's the Lewis and Clark, and these are the back roads of Oregon. Absolutely beautiful. Idaho, Montana. Yeah, beautiful country. And then we stop at all of the sites along the way pertaining to the Lewis and Clark Corps of Discovery expedition. And if you know Highway 12 out of Missoula, then you know this sign. And that is a lovely ride. And it gets into Pacific Northwest, the Columbia River Gorge, and then Fort Clatsop. So that's a neat one. We run that one in September every year. We also offer rentals and tours down and up the Pacific Coast Highway. And I'm sure many of you have already done that. It's really beautiful. And we think so too. And then we have uh, the American Southwest Adventure. And this will take you to the Moki Dugway, all over Utah, Arizona, Colorado, Nevada, and a little bit of Route 66. And then we do a little bit of Baja, as you well know. And we do off-road and on-road. We meet other tourists there, like these marine tourists. And it is a lovely ride. It's a lovely way to experience Mexico on the off season and bring your credit card because there are gasoline stations. I'm not sure if one would work there though. India, I just came back from India. This is our support car. Okay, that's not. But we go to the highest motorable passes in the world, including Umling Law and Kardung Law. We're using the Himalayas by Royal Enfield. A little bit of glamping, a little bit of just unbelievable roads. Let's go back there. Look at that road. That's the Spiti River Valley. It is definitely a battle between humanity and roads and gravity. It is pretty epic. We go right close to the border of Tibet and Pakistan, and we're up there, getting up there above 17,000 feet, even into 19,000 feet. You're going to see roads like this. And that's our crew in Kardung Law just a couple weeks ago. On to Patagonia. If you have never ridden it, you should. It is an amazing, I think it's a 16-day itinerary. It has 6 border crossings between Chile and Argentina. It starts in Puerto Varas, and then just starts crisscrossing all the way down between Route 40 and Carretera Austral in Chile. Really beautiful condors, guanacos, glaciers. It's a Perito Moreno Glacier, gauchos, traffic, highly trafficked by horses, wide open. It's, I would think it's one of the 3 most challenging trips we offer. There's India, then there's this one, and then it's either Prudhoe Bay or Mongolia. And it gets a bit windy there, so just be ready. But Torres del Paine on a good day, and crossing the Straits of Magellan on a motorcycle, there's nothing like it. And you can even send a postcard from the most southerly post office in South America. And we stay in nice little ranches like this once in a while. Yep, Patagonia. We do a northern Patagonia, which is in and out of Chile and Argentina, and it's volcanoes and big lakes and 40% dirt. And it's just a beautiful trip. It's more bang for buck in terms of just scenery. And we have nice places to stay, picked out, beautiful lakes. And yeah, Araucaria trees there. They're very rare. The monkey puzzle tree, if you will. Great riding, hot springs, that kind of thing. And Peru. Oh, Peru, 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 Peru. I would say the best road riding in the world. That's the Pan American Highway. It's just epic. Lots of elevation changes. Look at that road. That is right along the Pacific coast. Um, yeah, it's really hard to describe unless you do it. Not a lot of traffic between the towns and always changing, and the roads are in really good condition. And then you get a couple days in Cusco. You can check out all the Inca ruins, and you can ride a road like that. That's a day ride out of Ollantaytambo, and we spent a day in Machu Picchu as well. Now let's move into Mongolia. Let's get that passport stamped. Uh, there is a happy soul. Hey, Howard, and his eagle. And this is the type of riding you'll see. A lot of it's on pavement, but a lot of it's just make your own way. We stay in gares, which are yurts. We bring a chef, and we go all the way across the. Let's play this one. I like this one. Want to join a biker gang? Mongolia is going on right now. We have a really good crew on the ground there that sets up this gare camp just for us. And then we see an Eagle Hunters Festival, and there's really nothing like it. Uh, People start speaking Kazakh instead of Mongolian, and it is wide open. So there is Mongolia. Moving on to Brazil. I love Brazil. I lived in Brazil. I lead our Brazil trip. We're going to do it next November. We're going to move it from December to November. I hope you can join me. It's got a lot of history. It's going to blow you away. And it also has some great roads, great food, great vibe, and even a good boat day down in Parachi. Nothing wrong with a little bit of Brazil on the off season when it starts to get cold up here. Let's move on to New Zealand. Spent a little bit of time in New Zealand this year. And as you all know, New Zealand is beautiful. Hi, Mount Cook. And the roads do not disappoint. We've got really good crew on the ground that have helped us design this trip. And you ride all the major passes and all the great side roads. And there's Milford Sound for you. There's a day there included in the package. Lovely stuff. New Zealand. And then I just wanted to touch that we do Japan. I'm leading our fall Japan 3-island tour. We have 3 different itineraries there. One's in the spring with cherry blossoms. It's the same as the fall one, just different colors. And then we do the dinners are lavish. They come with the package. You have hot springs almost every night. Uh, would you think that this picture was taken in Japan? It's heavily forested, really steep, beautiful mountains. This is a picture from Hokkaido, which is the northern island, which I also lead. And you're welcome to join me in June. And the roads are like no other. And we also do custom trips. So you can tell us where you want to go. We've been just about everywhere, and we're happy to go places we haven't too. So just give us a call. I think this one might be in Italy. And then we've got some characters that have joined us over the years from all over the world. Really fun stuff. People that come from all walks of life, from all over the world. I've been at dinner tables where 6 languages are being spoken. It's amazing to get so many adventuresome souls together and get on the road. And about day 4, you have inside jokes and you make friends for life and share a passion that is, it's not mainstream, but you all know that there's nothing quite like motorcycle travel. And it's great. The people that do this are really adventuresome. They're fun. And so just like to welcome all of you guys to join if you haven't already one of our trips. We think of ourselves more of a family than we do a company, and we just want to share our passion and make it as safe and memorable as possible. And these groups, it's always fun just to kind of uh, make memories and then make more as we get older.
Phil, I got one more question here in the chat from Daniel. Man, he was curious what the typical group size is on our guided tours.
We take our minimum is 8 participants. That could be 4 couples, and then our maximum is 12 motorcycles.
Perfect.
And just wanted to end with this one, but you never know who you're going to meet on a MotoQuest trip. And this is the last slide. Are you ready? So the question is, where to next? So that's the presentation. I'm glad you had some time. If you have any questions, hit them up. Let's answer them now. Otherwise, feel free to contact us and throw out some questions. We'd love to continue a dialogue with you guys. And we're just here. We're here wherever and whenever you want to go. We're super excited and hope to see you out there somewhere. And I will be leading the Baja trip in 2026, starting January 31st, going south, and then also February 12th, going north. So if you want to do Best of a Baja and you're not sick of me yet, I would love to share the road with you in Baja. So thank you very much on behalf of our crew, Dax and Brendan, for making this all happen. And to MotoQuest in general, really excited about this group that I get to work with and this company. And I hope I get to join you somewhere out there. Thank you very much. Any other questions?